I need to catch up.
Yeah, you do.
They're really
Weird.
good.
They
They're
are.
very deliciously
So,
made.
welcome back. We are having our
Our usual drink
amarettos.
now.
It's here every time now.
Yeah.
So, and this week we got Tio Dustin.
Our special guest. Can everyone give a round of applause for Tio Dustin?
I'm really happy to have you here, bro. It's
Thanks,
gonna be
guys.
good times.
I'm really happy that you guys have me on today as well. It's gonna be a good time. These drinks are probably on my new favorites.
It's definitely on the list.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, for sure.
Do
Definitely
you
have
feel
to
like
add
you're
it.
being interviewed?
I do feel like I'm being interviewed.
We have to share mics, and we only have two. So Alex and I are sharing. Hopefully, you guys can hear us good.
Oh, they can. Okay.
Okay. So this
Sweet.
is Alex's brother, Dustin. Welcome. And he actually was traveling with us for a while. And through some of the most intense times we've ever had on the road. Literally, I think Dustin has seen us at
All of the bits.
Yeah, literally.
Engine broke.
Yeah.
Bus breaks again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And homeboy's there the whole time, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, he's like, whatever you need. You need help? I got you, bro."
Yeah, from doing a whole transmission job right in the middle of the desert,
Yeah, dude.
all the way to helping you guys rebuild the engine over in Idaho
Yeah.
through the ringer, the
Yeah.
trenches.
Like, I feel so bad because I feel like in a way you were kind of robbed of the good times that we could have been having when we were actually just stranded most of the time.
I mean, I had a good time. I mean, it's all about the experience too, but I definitely get that. But I think I had a good time anyways.
I feel like we
need a
developed,
do-over though.
and we developed a
Absolutely.
love of Magic the Gathering during that time.
Really
Oh yeah,
did.
I should have brought my cards over.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
have plenty of cards. I got the new Doctor Who set. So
Nice. I haven't played since last time we were all in Arizona.
Mm.
So it's been a minute. I asked all my new friends though, like, do you guys play Magic? Like, I got
That's how you have to screen them.
Yeah, and like I got a couple decks.
Yeah.
If you guys ever want to play,
I'm down.
but it never sticks, unfortunately.
Well, we're down. You know that.
Always.
But we're
Awesome.
doing a do-over this winter.
We need to, Baja California or
Let's
Baja
go.
Mexico again.
Yep.
We're gonna FSU.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're going.
Yeah.
We're
for
trekking.
Sure. We're gonna have all the good times, all the vibes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Part 2.
Okay, but really, guys,
This is why we're here.
are we ready to relive this trauma?
I am burning the same incense that we burned a few times while we were in Quartzsite with all this going down. So
A little nostalgic.
They always say like smell and sound brings you back. And so I was like, we'll hit this. We'll
Probably
get
why we
zone,
need an extra
which is why
strong
we think
drink.
which is also maybe the reason why we haven't burned it yet, you know, and then we've had it for so long since the whole time. But
right. Kind of like if you study for a test, if you chew gum when you're studying and you chew gum when you take it, your muscle memory kind of helps you remember the stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So the incense sort of bringing back like that feeling and like the
trauma.
Exactly, the trauma from it.
Yeah.
But helps your mind like kind of relate to it in a way.
Yeah.
So we're talking about some heavy stuff today. So definitely has to do with some stalking, online bullying in a way, and yeah. So just so y'all know, that's what we're working with today.
Yeah.
And this is the story of our stalker who may or may not probably is watching this. Let's be real. He's absolutely obsessed with all three of us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it was wild, and it's wild that like I feel like he loved Dustin.
Yeah, that was my first fan on the bus life. My first number one fan. It was.
He really was your number one fan, dude.
In like the worst way.
Yeah, it came off as sort of like a, hey, I'm older, I've been doing this, let me help you, kind of in a dad presence, which was sort of weird. I'm a very independent person myself, you guys know that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just really weird having somebody kind of boss me around. It was kind of aggressive. He's from the East Coast, is what he said, but
very heavy Boston accent.
Yeah, but he was very just like, this is the way to do it kind of thing, you know, like a dad would be growing up, like, hey, you need to do it this way in your car. You need to fix the tire this way. He's like, you got to do it this way. And I'm like, I don't even really know you, man.
Right, to the point where he was like aggressively yelling at you because you said you were going to do it differently.
Right, because I wanted a different style and a different preference than what his, rig had at the time.
Yeah, but it wasn't even just that. It was just like, for me, right away. The very second I saw this man.
And you mentioned that too, right? And Alex and I were like, okay, he's another dude.
He can be
He's a little
weird.
awkward. He's
Yeah, he can be
weird.
weird.
We
Yeah,
understand that. We'll give him some grace on it.
yeah.
Nope.
But Ashley knew right away, and we were like,
Oh my
"No
god.
way, Ashley. There's no."
It's like she saw and was like, I don't like this guy. And same with Berkeley.
Yeah.
Berkeley came in
That's
and
true.
immediately, and he is a very friendly dog in most
Literally
cases.
so friendly with everybody
He
except
is.
for this guy.
Yeah.
As soon as he saw him, he was snarling and backing up, and I haven't seen him act like that since then at
Literally
all.
Me
ever.
neither, honestly. Yeah, and I've known
Yeah.
Berkeley for a long time though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm curious, both of your impressions, they were just like, oh, this guy's a little weird. Because I originally, like, right off the bat, I was like, I remember I was giving you, like, the face, like he came in. Okay, so he wanted to come see our bus.
Yeah, tell so like how that happened originally was like on Instagram
Yeah.
at the
Courtside
RV
RV
show,
show.
right? So like how
Yeah.
did all that transpire again?
So he DM'd our Instagram and said that he was looking into building a schoolie, which is strange now because he was very much into Airstreams. And his Instagram name was a woman's name. So I assumed it was a
Right.
chick.
There was no pictures. It was
Right.
just like, and when you message, and I mean, like, if we get a message or anything like that, like, we'll respond back. It's not like we do a deep dive of
Right.
anybody that
Person.
messages and be like, who is this? All these
Do a
things. You know what I
background
mean?
check on them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we had done it where like people would come up and be like, hey, can we check it out?
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Come in.
And it's always been fine. I think it's cool that people think our bus is great and they want to see it. And I'm like, yeah, come
Absolutely.
on
Yeah,
over.
for sure.
And so I thought it was a little strange that I got a message back that was like, I went to go turn off my generator and realized that you were parked kind of behind me.
Which is weird to get a message like that,
Yeah, but
right?
also he said turn off. So he had already been out there to turn it on and didn't notice,
Yeah.
which I thought was weird.
Yeah. Like at this point, the bus is broke. So the bus has been there
Yeah.
and has not moved.
Right.
The transmission, right? We were
Yeah.
doing that.
That's when the
Mhm.
flex plate broke. And so cause our friends were gone, right? So Nate and Christian, they were gone. They were out of there.
Mhm.
And he was there. So like the bus literally did not move.
Right.
And he was parked originally too, like maybe 3 or 4 rows down. Like,
Behind us.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what side. I want to say maybe the west side.
Yeah. So then this man shows up at our bus, and I'm totally expecting a chick. And so I was a little put off by that, but it was this like older man with like thick, dark brimmed glasses.
Turtleneck,
Yeah.
maybe some chains.
No, he had a shirt on with skulls all
Yeah,
over
I
it.
remember
Turtleneck
that.
and
I
chains.
remember because I was very put off by this man. And like, I don't know. Like, I am not like a judgmental person. Like, you can wear
Mhm.
whatever. But immediately I was like, no. Immediately. And like, he knew so much about our life and our family.
Right.
He started saying to Alex, like, I really admire what you did with the engine. I love how you fixed it all yourself. I really look up to you. And so, like, it wasn't just somebody who, like, randomly looked us up and wanted to see our bus. He like knew us.
Yeah.
Right.
There's like one thing of like seeing a video and be like, oh, I like that. You know what I mean? And being interested in it. There was another where he knew all of our stuff. And that was where the first kind of put off was from it, was his interaction with Hadley.
Oh well,
and it was
I was gonna get there.
Okay, yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, but I will say that like I love like okay, so we put a lot on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
We put our life out there. It's okay like if people, watch and they know about it. It's not that. It was
I
that
feel like he was very
the
specific though on a lot of things that were just like you
Yeah.
could have been vague about and been cool with it, but you were just very specific about a lot of
yes. And it
private
wasn't
things that you were maybe digging a little bit too deep into that you needed. It was sort of that vibe, right?
yeah, and it like immediately it was just the bad vibes that I got. And I looked at Alex and I like shook my head. Anyway, he came in to the bus and immediately Berkeley was snarling, backing up, freaking out. And we kind of showed him around the bus a little. He said some things that were really off putting, but it wasn't until our 5 year at the time old daughter walked up the stairs right there and was just standing there. And the only thing this 60-year-old man says to my 5-year-old daughter is, I watch you all the time on the internet, but I don't like those videos because there's a lot of weirdos out there.
Word for word.
I mean, yeah, it's like something somebody would that's projecting would say to you. Why would you even say that?
Right.
It's
It,
such an unusual thing to say to
it's
somebody,
Yeah.
it's a very
even a young girl
yeah,
too.
like a
Like
Yeah.
almost, I would say, like a dark thing to say. You know what I
Yeah.
kind of
mean?
malicious. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and almost said in the way that it's supposed to be like, I'm trying to be cool, but I'm gonna say this, and
Yeah.
it very much felt uncomfortable.
Like he was
Mhm.
overcompensating.
Yeah.
Very much so. And trying to say that that's not how he was when like it really might have been.
Right.
And we try to keep the kids are in it, but they try not to be the main focal point most of the time,
Right.
because I feel like people like that exist, you know, and I feel like that's a very like touchy area to be, and that was definitely an eye-opening moment
Especially as
with
a
all of that
parent. Yeah.
stuff with him and how that transpired. And it's like it's for sure like how we're going to navigate life and move forward. We learned a
Right.
lot from this whole thing as
Yes.
we go through and explain all this. It was a wild experience this whole time.
Right. And I will say that most people who meet our kids that have like watched our videos and stuff, they're usually like, what do you think about traveling? How do you like being homeschooled? Where's your favorite place you've been? And stuff like that. It was none of that. It was just that. And then that was it. That's all he said. And I remember I looked at Alex and I like shook my head and I was like,
She knew. She
yeah.
knew right away.
I was like, nope. Well, then I don't even know how it came up. You guys started talking about solar and he realized you were into solar
Mm-hmm.
and then lured you back to his RV.
Because he was doing a solar project, so it happened to be right then. He just needed to
Yeah.
get his solar done. He asked for
Mhm.
Alex's expertise on it
He
too.
was like, "Can you come take a look at this and all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff?" And I'm a person. Yeah, dude, no problem. I'll come take a look.
Why
No,
not?
I
Right.
was literally terrified. I just want you to know that like I have there have been very I think that's like number 1. The most oh dog.
Berkeley. Mhm.
That's the most afraid for you that I've ever been. I remember I said to you, Dustin, remember?
Yeah.
I was like, Alex is over at his house. I'm really freaked out by this guy.
You did.
Please go check on
Yeah,
him.
and then I went over there too, and I think as soon as I was over there, Alex was like,
I knew why you were there. I knew
immediately,
the
because we just know each other. I gave him the look, and he was like, okay,
yeah, dude.
and we just knew. And I was like, I'm gonna hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
was like genuinely
immediately-
Brother's
so
got my back, bro. Brother's got my back.
always.
I know. I was genuinely so afraid for you to be over there alone that I was like, please go check on him. I'm really scared about this guy. Like, he is so scary. And I remember you weren't coming back. Like,
I'm a talker. And
yeah.
so I have a hard time breaking away from a conversation. So if somebody's doing anything to like keep me there, I feel like I'm there the whole time.
Yeah.
I have a hard
Absolutely.
time just going like, I'm all done.
Right.
I'm gone.
So I learned
Yeah.
about Berkeley. Like, I'm like, this big dog, he's gonna protect me. Like, he
Mhm.
was already snarling at this guy. I
Yeah.
was like, I need to go save you. I was like, I need to, like, go protect my man.
Thanks,
Even
baby.
though I
You
don't know
got
what
my
I was
back,
gonna
too.
do. I just brought the dog. And
And
I
what
remember.
else? What else did you bring?
So I go over there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, she didn't come over with just the dog.
No.
with the
Yeah.
dog. And I go over there. And my signature thing to say to you when I need you, I feel like I shouldn't even say this. It's such a
Mm-mm.
secret
Yeah, no.
and such a
Mm-mm.
hack.
Yep.
Okay. So I said something that I knew would get Alex over
Yep.
right away. And
You gotta have codes.
yeah.
You have to have a code.
Mhm.
Yep.
It gets me every time.
It does.
I
Yeah.
always forget the code, but it gets me every time. So
My
Yes.
safe word's whiskey
whiskey
from Hot Rod.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
I go over and I say our code, and he thinks that it's like for real. So he leaves, and we go to walk away. And what did he say to us? Something about a gun. And I was like, remember, he's like, I hope you have a gun and you're secure out here.
Yep.
And I said, oh, we have a ton. We love the Second Amendment. We have so many guns and cameras
You
on
did
all four
say
sides.
that too. I remember that.
Yep. Because
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
did say, and he was on camera the whole
Yep.
time that he was back there, and the whole time that he was even because he ended up moving closer. Spoiler alert: he ends up moving closer, but he ended up being on our security cameras the entire time.
Yeah.
And so it did feel
Mhm.
a bit safer when you're in a predicament like that because we can't move, and he can be anywhere. having security cameras always there when we're already unwary of the guy felt a little better.
Yeah, it was so weird because he was like 3 rows over, like far away. I don't know first how he would even keep track of us unless he was really looking at us because we were so far away. And then he moves over, what, 3 spots over from us?
Closer.
He left a gap between us,
Only
really.
because someone else
Someone
was
else
right
was
there.
camping there.
That toy
Exactly.
hauler, that one really
I
nice
forgot
couple.
what
They were awesome
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
he was awesome. He ended up loaning me
They
a
were
couple
really
tools
cool.
to be able to get everything separated. He was like, if you have any
Mm-hmm.
problems, and he ended up being a heavy diesel mechanic, so like it kind of worked out great for that whole
Super
like
cool guy.
He's a
Yeah.
real chill dude.
Yeah, like our actual neighbor. Okay, so how it happened is, do you remember he kept trying to get us to go with him in his truck to Schoolie Palooza that night?
Oh
The
yeah.
first night we met.
And he was tempting me too, like, yeah, there's a lot of young, hot girls there and stuff. And
That's
And
weird.
you
he's
know,
literally like
I'm
60.
27 at the time, so I'm like, of course I'm fond of
Young hot
that in
girls, I'm
some
there, dude.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like with you, bro, you're 60. You're not gonna be the most advantageous for my performance or for my
Yeah.
whatever,
He's not the
my
wingman.
riz,
Yeah.
as they say it. But yeah, a good wingman. He wouldn't be one. But and that wasn't the only time too. There was multiple times where he texted my phone, even when I was away from the court site, saying like, "Hey, I've met up with a few younger." He'd always mention younger girls, which was kind of weird to me. But it happened a few times. He's like, "You should come out and hang out with us. It's just me and these girls." And I was like, I don't really feel comfortable doing that.
No.
He did it probably two different after that first time, probably two different times. And like originally I thought it was him just like he's trying to be hip, he's trying to be cool and like just talk maybe in a way that bros would talk or something, right? So that was my first initial thought, but after it happened multiple times, I was like, this is a little odd. He is definitely my grandpa. He's
Yeah.
as old as my dad. Like that's a
Yeah.
little bit weird relationship to have with somebody that's not even 30.
Yeah.
Okay, so he asks us to all get in his truck and go to Schoolie Palooza,
Yep.
and we're like, nah, we're okay. We got plans. Thank you though. So he hitches up his rig and he's gone. He goes to Schoolie Palooza, and we're like, okay, thank goodness. I remember being so relieved because I was like, oh yeah, he was just weird, but he's gone.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Felt it in the energy, like in the air, just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. We can finally like
We chill out a bit.
Relax.
be ourselves. We're not walking on eggshells anymore, just being like totally on edge with security and just awareness of what this guy might do. Like his
Yeah.
intentions and his motivations were like,
Right.
we felt a lot better after he left.
And then he came back.
He did.
Literally, like the next day, he
Mhm.
came back and parked as close to us as he possibly could because Nate and Christian were across from us. The
Mhm.
Rams were next to them. And then there was the guy right next to us that was the mechanic. So he couldn't get any closer. He literally parked as close as humanly possible to us.
Right. We didn't ask him to. He didn't
No.
talk with us. And again, like he's free to do whatever he would like, right? As far
Absolutely.
as like he's a free man, park wherever he wants. It just seemed weird to come right back to where we were at and park there, and also park there for as long as he parked there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was times and interactions with him prior to him going to Schoolie Palooza, which we made it. We're very nice people. We don't like to be just rude, but I feel like there's instances where we definitely gave him a vibe like, hey, we really want to do our own thing for a little bit. We don't really want other people kind of like
In our area.
in our area for a little bit. Like everybody likes their own individuality and their own time to decompress and stuff.
For
And
sure.
especially as a family too, like we just wanted to do our own thing and hang out with our friends. We didn't really want any new energy kind of in that field. And I feel like we definitely gave him a very polite and subtle enough just for somebody to pick up. Like, hey, we don't really want you there, which is weird why he then parked close to us again.
Closer.
Closer, right?
Yeah.
Just like kind of like going over a boundary that we had kind of placed with him in a way too.
For
like,
sure.
Like it's definitely like a social awkwardness type of deal because
Mhm.
I feel like some people can't pick it up, but
I
we
think he
definitely
did.
we definitely
knew.
laid it down, and it seemed intentional to have moved as close as he
Yep.
did
Yeah.
for as long as he did.
Okay,
Exactly.
so we were broken down there. We were there for several months past when
3 months.
Let me add this with it. Yeah, we were there for a while. When we broke down to We did not share like location where we were at or any of those things, and we tried to like hold off of the areas and the specific spots because when you're in an area like that, you feel sitting like a sitting duck,
Literally.
and we didn't want to let anybody know, and we especially did not tell this guy that we were broken down at all. I tried to hold every bit of it because I don't need any other reason for him to know that we can't move. It's a very unsafe feeling to have.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It honestly, if anyone wants to know what the hardest part about RV living, this was one of the hardest things I feel like we've ever been through. For me anyway, like emotionally, mentally, all of it. I had a very hard time during this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling like we couldn't escape and knowing that this guy was bad vibes. Like I think he
Yeah.
definitely meant us harm.
Yeah, and like when Alex went over the first time too, and I came over because Ashley had some concerns. I feel like even like when he was making us drinks, I was like checking to make sure he wasn't doing anything weird
Oh
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Can we
Like I
talk
was on
about
edge the whole time.
can
Yeah.
we talk about that night that he
Yeah.
invited you over for drinks? I want to know
Oh yeah.
like
There's been multiple instances where he's invited me to go do things like when he'd give me advice, hey, you should do this in the bus instead of doing your idea. He's like, I'm actually going to Home Depot if you want to swing a ride. I'm gonna hang out there for a little
and
bit.
I was like, please don't go with him, Dustin.
And like it
Please
sounded
don't.
cool. I was like, yeah, I'll get some stuff done, like I'll get some wood and everything. Like that
He's
sounds
like, we'll
fun.
take you.
Right, and me being kind of gullible too, I mean, I'm always trying to just be nice and give grace to people and be like, okay, whatever. But I don't know. I feel like yeah, that was a weird time. I definitely feel better I didn't go to Home Depot with him because it could have been something a lot more intense than really just going to Home Depot and getting supplies.
Okay, but
Yep.
like I truly, truly believe in my gut that it was
Yeah.
worse than that.
I think so too. And I'm glad because
And
he asked me and then he kept asking me, and I feel like
Yeah.
every time he asked me, he got a little more
Insistent.
aggressive and
Yeah.
pushy with it too. Which with me, I've been in sales. If someone is pushy with me, I'm like, I'm done.
Same.
I'm not doing that stuff,
Same.
dude.
yep.
Red flag.
100% of this. So, and after a while, it was kind of had an attitude with him. I'm like, hey, I don't want to go, man. I was starting to get to a point where it was like a little bit of just animosity towards him in a way. And then
Mm-hmm.
he also came over completely unannounced when I was still in my bus. I haven't been outside for the entirety of the day, and I was like hanging out in my bus. And I think he may have talked to you before he came in or something. And you were like, hey, he's chilling, he's
Yeah.
sleeping. Like, don't
He
bug him. He hasn't been out yet.
Yeah.
he came over and we were just out, and I feel like he waited for a prime opportunity that one of us was out, and then he would walk over and come have a conversation. And he came over and he started talking to me about you and like how to like he's like, I'm gonna be going to the store soon. Like, does he want to go? And I was like, I think he's just chilling. I haven't really seen him today. I think he might be still sleeping still. And he was like, oh, okay. And turns and walks over to Dustin's bus
Didn't
and
he
just
open the door and go in?
Yeah,
and
I
just
think he just came right in.
he walked right into his bus,
Dude,
dude.
Was that so scary though?
whatever. I could have just been enjoying my time. Like, and he
Yeah.
just walks in. I could have been
Yeah.
butt naked.
Yeah.
Right.
You're my brother, and
Yeah.
I've never just walked into your rig. I would
Mhm.
at least knock, come over, and be like, knock, knock,
Yeah.
knock,
Even
rooskies,
when I
whatever
was
you got.
younger, I'd knock on the door. Hey, Alex, can I come watch you play video
Yeah,
games?
yeah, dude,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, like it's just like common decency to at least knock. And like
I'm
the
huge
fact
on that
that,
too.
yeah, like the fact that he just walked in is scary.
Yeah, like he could have done that at any hour of the night.
Yeah.
He just felt
Right.
entitled that he was.
Hmm.
I can just walk in, no problem. This is my place too, and we were
Right.
never close enough friends that that was ever acceptable.
Right.
You
If it
guys were
was
Never.
never. You guys.
Nate or Christian or Tyler, I feel like I have a good enough relationship with them that if they're like, hey, dude, it's like 11:30, like we're gonna go do something, like come hang out with us. Okay, I'm getting up now. But I feel like
Right.
it was
Right.
a different situation. It was
And he just straight up walked into your bus. It's one thing to ask, it's another thing to just assume that you can walk into somebody else's house.
right.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best door at the time, but I mean, come on, you can still knock or something or announce that you're,
Anything.
you
You got
know.
windows. You can probably hear me walking up to your bus, and I can be like, "Hey, bro, you in there?"
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so no, like I'm actually very curious about that night you guys went over to have drinks with him. I don't know how that ended up being, like how you guys ended up there, but I want to know.
He invited us over for, I think, a fire was the initial plan,
Hmm.
and we went over there. It was like a little cold. There was no fire. He was like, "I don't have any firewood." So we were like,
Which is
oh,
weird.
we were like, oh, okay. I mean, it did seem weird, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, why don't you come on in, and I'll make us some drinks. We were like, okay, yeah, we're here for a couple of drinks. We'll see how it goes. But there was that moment that it happened, and we went in there. I felt like I needed to watch him make the drinks. There was just this whatever feeling that
It
came
was because
over.
of the question you asked him.
Oh yeah, it was. I did forget. So we walk in, and the normal thing that you do is like, how was work? How was your day?
Mm-hmm.
How was all the things?
Just normal small talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nighttime. I don't
Right.
really know the guy.
Right.
We've talked once or twice at this point from like an actual conversation standpoint. And we go over there and I was like, how was your day? And he does this look, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just almost like a smirk, but like a side eye. And he was like, we're not going to talk about that. And then proceeds to just discuss everything else. And we never circle back to it. And
Which is weird. Yeah.
that moment, I was like, this is weird
Like, what was he
because,
doing that he can't tell us? Like, I know he said he worked in cybersecurity, which is another really weird red flag. Like,
because
you're in cybersecurity. Like, what do you like? What else do you know about security and like espionage or just like creeping
Right.
on people in a way? Like, what else are you doing?
right, well, he said all that, and then we're there, and I watch him make the drinks. It ends up being fine. Dustin and I just have a couple. We're like, we're not gonna get wild with this.
Mm-mm.
And he all of a sudden now is a DJ. So Dustin's talking about how he likes doing DJing stuff and talking about doing
Yeah,
that, and all of a sudden this dude just totally flipped from being in cybersecurity, because this is what he told us, to knowing everybody in the business.
I
He used
remember
to
that
DJ in like New York. He knew all these guys. He could hook you up with all the stuff that you needed, whatever
right.
equipment and all that. He knew everybody at this point.
Because I was talking to him, and that's kind of how he originally, I feel like, got my attention. Because he was like talking about music, and I'm like, yeah, like I thought about maybe getting a DJ board and just like messing around with it and stuff in my free time. And I feel like it'd be cool to make music. I'm always a big fan of just making music. It would be cool to check it out. And he's like, oh, I'm a DJ. I actually know everybody like in the industry,
I
all
used
the
to be
big
real big.
producers, and I was like, okay, like, and I was intrigued a little bit because either he's lying and I want to know how far we can take the lie, or he's being truthful, and that would be a good opportunity. So I'm like, let's see where this goes for a second, but I don't know, it was just overall weird. He just changed up his career to be he was like really malleable like in what he was trying to do to like get more information out of us. He like
Yes.
changed his personality or
He would be what you needed to
occupancy or
be.
exactly
Yeah,
super. I hate to use this term, but like kind of narcissistic in a way where you're a covert and you kind of adapt to people's traits and then you use that to manipulate them more.
yeah.
It's
I'm going to go further.
yeah,
I'm going to say socio or psychopath.
yeah, a lot of similarities between those, absolutely. But I
Yes.
could see that too.
Yes. I feel like he was really trying to like win you over.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, like I was some kind of prize or trophy. Like he was just
yes.
like trying to woo me.
Like I swear to you, and I've never gotten these vibes from anybody else, but I got some serious serial killer vibes from this man.
Yeah. What is he doing now? Do you guys know what he's up to or
No. So, but we have much more to add to the story as it.
sweet?
So, Quartzite wasn't the end of it.
Okay, but we're still at Quartzite. Do
Yeah.
you
We're
remember
at courtside, yep.
when we sold or you sold him my old e-bike
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and he just took it and didn't pay us at all for it, and it was like getting to be the end of the day and I'm like, "Hey, did he give us that money for my e-bike?"
Yep.
And he hadn't. So I went over there literally terrified. So I filmed the entire thing and like recorded it just to be sure if anything happened, I had evidence. I don't know. It just
You're
made
safe.
me
You got
feel,
it.
yeah. It just made me feel better. But I go over there and I'm like, "Hey, do you have that money for the e-bike?" And he's like, "Do you need it right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you could, that'd be great."
You kind of have the product,
Yeah,
so it'd be
he's
cool
got
if
the
we could have the
device.
money
Yeah.
for it. That would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
awesome.
didn't think I was asking much, but
Yeah.
And so he went in his RV to get his phone. He didn't have it on him. And he said he had been trying all day to try and
Mm.
get PayPal to go through to send it, but service wasn't good and it wouldn't go through. And
But he
so,
does cybersecurity though, right? So I don't know how he does his job without having good internet or Wi-Fi. But I don't know. I'm just being delusional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So then he's like, "See, look, can you just do it?" And so I thought it was weird. He hands me his phone. I punch in the number that we agreed to.
Should have said a little more for the inconvenience. I'm
Yeah.
joking.
Number
Right?
0.
Yeah.
And so it goes through immediately, first try, no issue whatsoever. And like, I truly believe that he wasn't going to pay us if I didn't go over there. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this brief. This guy really weirds me out. I just want to leave. So I turn to walk away and he stops me and he's like, "Hey," and he's like, "You tell your brother that I'm going about an hour north of here and he needs to come with me because I'm going to be buying all of this stuff to fix up my rig and we'll build his rig. We'll get him a shower, all this stuff." And I'm
Hmm.
just like, "Yeah, okay." And I turn to walk away again and he says to me, I'll never forget this, "I'll be watching you and you'll be watching me."
So weird.
That is weird.
That's like Netflix movie The Watcher. I feel like that's just the kind of vibes I was getting. Like he's watched, It's like
He
I
ended
mean,
up
come to find out, he really was, but
he
in great
was
detail.
yes. So
like
I was
tabs.
very creeped out. I have that on video. If it, like, we normally don't edit the podcast, but I might add that clip in just because I do have it. And yeah, it was very eerie,
Yeah,
very creepy.
pull it up for us. Throw it on there.
Jamie, pull that up
Come
for
on,
us.
Jamie.
Watching you, you'll be watching me. So
So we finally get I think he left maybe a day or two before us. We finally get the bus all fixed up and we head to Sedona. None of us, okay, can we all like agree? Not a single one of us told him we were headed to Sedona. Or did you guys?
No, I never
Nope.
did. But he sent so a while when we got to Sedona, he sent me his coordinates or something. He said he was close to Sedona, and I never like I'll go through my Instagram messages with him because that's how he would get a hold of me. But I had his notifications on silence, so I never really got him anyways. I'm like, I'm gonna silence this guy. I don't really want to see his stuff. I'll be honest with you
Okay,
guys.
but can we just pause for a second to see
Yeah.
if he has messaged you at all?
Oh yeah. I don't think
And
he
see when the
has,
last
but
time that he did, because
oh yeah, I'll go through him too. It's so weird. Let's
Did you get voice messages from him?
no, not to that extent.
Oh.
And I think I've blocked him. So let me see if
oh,
I can
okay.
pull it up though.
Yeah, it was definitely a blockable offense.
Oh yeah, I'm going way back.
Yeah.
Back to like what would it be like April, May of
Okay, what?
23?
Uh,
Let's hear it. Let's hear
let's
it.
see.
Yeah, I mean, even just going back to that message while we were in Sedona, because none of us told him we were going to Sedona. I don't know how he would have known.
So he just. Oh, okay. So I think I might have shared a story maybe because it says
Okay.
replied to your story.
Okay.
That was on April 19th of last year. So he said the 525s are mostly closed off, have everyone corralled, packed in tight, miles in. Found a great spot across the street, about a quarter mile up on the right. Not sure why this isn't a busy spot, but there's always space.
Oh.
It's weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a busy spot. There's space here.
Yeah. Like, was that
He
an
said, come
And then he
on.
invite?
He
dropped
said,
his
come on over.
coordinates.
He did?
Yeah,
He shared
latitude,
his.
longitude. Yeah.
What?
And then I was just like, hey, yep, depending on how long, like, we're trying to fix the engine up, just being like polite, not really giving
Mhm.
any
Yeah.
sort of indication on time frame of like how long and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then the last message he sent to me that I didn't answer was he's like, he's like two girls in a spot up the road biking to Sunset Point tonight, probably joining them.
Okay,
So
but
two
that's
girls.
really creepy.
So what? One for you, one for me. Like you're 60 years old. Like I don't know
And
if I want to do. That's so weird.
and biking to Sunset Point. Is it at sunset? Was he trying to get you somewhere like
Like,
and dark? You know.
is this
And
like a
is he watching these two girls biking and then just like
exactly right?
most
Like
likely?
Sunset Point. Like is this like an old horror movie? Like oh Sunset Point where
Yeah,
they got a
dude.
mass murderer that kills people in the back of the car at
Yeah.
Right.
Makeout Point. Like what's
Right.
going on?
Yeah, dude.
Right. Okay, so something we didn't share is what our name for him was.
TB.
TB.
TB for what though?
Okay, so he told us his name was Ted, which I feel totally fine sharing that because it's not his real name.
Yeah,
Did you guys know that?
I did not.
He literally gave us a fake name.
Which is weird why he would give us a fake name that is similar to something that we are assuming that he potentially could be.
Yeah, so he told us his name was Ted, and I said he reminds me of Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like Ted Bundy. And now I'm kind of like, did he tell us that because he has like this like sick infatuation with Ted Bundy?
Yeah, because like that's possible. People are wild out there.
Yeah.
So we called him TB for short. And that was just his name, like from us, because he actually made us feel that uncomfortable that we compared him to a serial killer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we go to Sedona and he's messaging Dustin while we're in Sedona, knows that we're there.
Right. I'm hanging out with somebody else at the time too, which we don't have to talk about that situation, but it was
That's
a great
for another
experience.
podcast,
That's for
though.
another
That's another good
podcast.
time.
It was a good time.
Great memories, but
Yeah. You needed to have a good time.
yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was a really good time.
I feel like it was good for you.
I should call her.
Call her right now.
That's a playback. No, I'm
Call
not.
her right now.
That's a callback joke. No, I'm not going to.
Okay, so then you ended up going to Phoenix to get your engine replaced in your bus. That
Yep.
was a whole separate
Oh, geez.
scenario.
Yeah.
And we went to Lone Rock in Page, Arizona.
Yep.
And because Alex wanted to go to the beach for his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, during this entire time, during Sedona, I don't even think I knew at that time that he had reached out to you and that he was in Sedona. I didn't know.
Yeah, he was around the Wet Beaver Creek area too, right
Which
where
is
we were sort of.
What?
He said he was a quarter mile. I think he was on the
He was close.
east side of that main. I don't know the road there, that main road. I don't remember what that's called. That we got off of with the exit there,
Okay.
right to Wet Beaver Creek.
So was it 89A or
It
something?
was something over there. Yeah.
So to bring it in a little, like there may have been a very small chance or a chance that he knew where we were at because he could have tracked our location, right? So there was he was the type of guy that would just give stuff away. He's like, I don't need this anymore. You want
Forgot
this?
about that.
You know, it'd be
Did
brand.
he give
It'd be
you the
brand new.
same thing? Didn't he give you the exact same thing he gave us?
I got a it's like that AC unit you guys have. He gave me one too that was similar, but
Yeah,
not as high functioning. But it was just something you fill with water and it just blows a little bit. But still, like he could have put something in there as a tracker.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Well,
was always trying to give me stuff,
he gave us a Bluetooth radio.
which is weird too. Bluetooth radio, like.
Well, so we had that for a while, and we used it for a bit, and we actually ditched it. I think in Lone Rock or somewhere after that because
I got one too. Yeah,
there was a
You
chance.
did?
the Alltech Lansing,
I thought so. He
I
literally
did get
gave
that
you
one.
both the same thing, and we're
which
convinced.
is so weird.
Yeah.
If you think about it, yes.
So
And I still have that too.
You need to get rid of it.
You
Like
need
we
to
ditched
ditch
ours.
that bad boy. We
Yeah.
we threw
Guys,
it away
I'm
in the
selling
garbage.
Alltech Lansing speaker, $25.
yeah.
May
Picking
or may
up.
not have a
Yeah.
serial killer tracking it.
So if that's your guys' thing, I mean, I'll $500, dude.
Fast deal, deal.
Quick cash.
So
Yeah.
we ended up ditching it because
We're
like,
pretty sure there was a tracker in it.
maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. We did a bunch of stuff as far as trying to figure out and like scan and check all the things that you need to check, and we couldn't tell. But it wasn't worth it if it did because I mean it's literally it's a speaker, and so we chucked it because we'll buy a different one if it means that this guy can't see our location at all times.
Right, because when we were in Page, Arizona, and I will say, if I had known that he actually was following our family and that he was that obsessed with our family, never would I have shared where we were. And I feel like seriously valuable lessons were learned through all of this. And I won't do it again, but I definitely posted that we were there so he could have found out from Instagram. But I remember I'm like taking a deep breath, like the eerie feeling that I had when I opened my Instagram app and I saw at the very top a post from him at the exact same beach we were on. Like, I
Yeah.
think he purposely posted that just to kind of let us know.
That was over in
It was-
Page, Arizona, or that was over in Utah.
That was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
in Utah technically, but it's Page, Arizona, because that's where Lake Powell is.
Yeah.
So there's camping, but you have to go into Utah first to get to it.
Gotcha.
And I remember we called you, Dustin, and we were like, you're never gonna believe who's here.
And that's wild, yeah. And then I went and I think I seen his Instagram story. I watched it. And he posted something. I'm pretty sure you guys' bus was way, way, way in the back too, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
Yeah. So he was following us and he was where we were, and we had no idea at that time. We thought, at least in my mind, that it was a very scary situation that was over and done with. But it wasn't until we got further into Utah, and I feel like this was just like the most random thing. I think you can't make this stuff up. You really can't.
Mm-mm.
So I need to like go into this other thing, which I don't know if I even told you, Dustin, like this whole story.
All I remember is after the Page thing, really. I don't know if he left or what happened, but up to that point, like, I'm totally oblivious to what happened.
I'm getting ready to blow your mind. Are you
Sweet.
ready to have your mind
Always,
just absolutely
yeah.
blown? Okay.
Always.
So randomly, out of nowhere, we get a mean comment on one of our videos from somebody who I really thought was like a friend, like friendly. Like, we only met one time at a fire in Florida, but I felt like we really hit it off. I really liked her. I thought she was super funny.
We had a good time.
Yeah. And so, all good vibes. Like, anytime anyone brought her up, I'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
All good vibes. Nothing bad to say at all. And so I was very thrown off by this mean comment. I was like, this is weird. I thought we were friends. She's also a content creator, a full-time RVer on Instagram. And again, I really liked her. Super put off by the comment. Like, what the heck?
Mhm.
And so then she just blocks me out of nowhere. And I'm like, a little, like, my feelings were a little bit hurt because I did like her. I thought she was cool.
Right. Like, that's kind of weird. Like, what, did I say something? You're kind
Right.
of reflecting, like, what did I do?
Right. And like, so I'm like questioning everything, trying to figure out what did I do to this girl? Like, I thought we were friends.
Thought we were chilling.
Yeah. And so she blocks me, and a week goes by and I haven't heard anything. And then I get a message from her again on Instagram, and it's like, I am so sorry. Like, she's very apologetic. She's like, that's very not like me. I don't normally act like that. And she's like, honestly, this guy has just been messaging me constantly about you, and it's really starting to get to me. And
Wow.
I let him get in my head, and I'm really sorry. And then she says, he was just so weird. He had a Boston accent.
So weird, dude.
And I was like, wait, like my stomach dropped.
You knew exactly who it was just from that statement. You're like, that's TB, man.
Yeah.
Tuberculosis.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew right then. And I was like, oh my gosh, this man is messaging her, who publicly we've never, like, it's not like we've ever really like
Talked about him badly or maliciously or negatively,
No.
right? So for
Or
him to
to
go and
each
do
other.
that,
Or
to try to ruin your reputation or ruin any your relationships you have, is completely out of pocket and
So-
very immature.
well, so the most wild part is that we had never mentioned at all to TB ever about this chick.
Your
Yeah.
friend group or
We had
anything,
never
yeah.
Yeah.
We had never posted anything.
So
with
is it going
her
on your
or
guys' social
done
media
anything.
following and like finding people and like doing
Well,
that intentionally?
So like at this point, we have zero, to my understanding, online connections or even in-person connections. We don't have any text messages. There's zero things
Between us and her. Yeah, because honestly, and it's nothing against her, but like, she spends most of her time on the East Coast and we spend most of our time out West
Coast.
Yeah, so we just are
City
never
of
really in
Compton.
the same place, but I feel like if we were, we would probably hang out. She seems really cool. But and I met her the one time. But there was nothing online or elsewhere, even in person, for him to draw the conclusion of like her and I like knowing each other or talking or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, she lives in an RV and makes content online. I live in an RV and make content online. And that was it. Like, there was no other crossover other than that. So I honestly, like, I would really like to know why he chose her to message about me, because I feel like that's weird. It
Right?
wasn't even
Is it
somebody
just
that
like a
we're friends with,
Is she
or
like a single like traveler, or is she somebody
no,
that has a
she's like a whole family.
hmm.
Yeah.
it's wild the way that like all plays out because how that interaction came to be, how it continued over the course of I feel like a long time, to develop that type of communication, I feel like is just extremely wild to have.
So wild. I couldn't even believe it. But then she tells me that he has been messaging her nonstop for months since we were parked next to him in Quartzsite,
So weird.
and giving her like updates on our daily life.
Oh, I remember you mentioning that to me about yeah.
And we
Yeah.
and we know this is like was actually him doing it and wasn't just her saying this happened, because we had posted about some stuff happening and we were going to change up different things, and all of these conversations like happened, one before that and two were voice messages, so we could hear him saying it, like
To
his
her.
his accent, that it was 100% without a doubt him.
And he's talking bad though, really, right? And
Yes.
that was his whole intent with
He's
it.
Yeah.
talking very very like creepily in the sense of I've been watching them for a few days
Yeah.
and I've seen their kids out playing, very
He
much.
said he was watching our kids play from 100 feet away from his window.
That's so weird, dude. Especially from a 60-year-old man. Like,
After the comment he made about Hadley, too.
yeah. Like, what is this? Like, that's so weird.
Yeah. And he went on to say, like, describe to her in great detail about our solar setup, which I don't know her super well, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't care what kind of solar setup we
Yeah,
have. Like, why
yeah,
would she?
right.
And why does he care that much either?
And to tell
Yeah.
somebody else about it.
He was
Right.
infatuated with us. Like,
Absolutely.
obsessed.
Literally so obsessed.
Psychopathic. Like,
Psychopath, yeah. And would give her play by play updates of what I was doing and Alex throughout the day. Like, he told her that Alex was out working out and that I tended to stay inside. And he's like, I worry that she might have some sort of like depression. She doesn't ever come outside.
crazy.
So he's like, I've just been kind of watching her from a distance.
So weird. He's trying to become like, I feel like, excuse me. He was trying to be like a protector of some sort, like watching like a, and it's so weird, dude. Though, like as like a, I don't know, I don't.
It-
It's just a weird vibe, like overseer of us. Like he wanted to be that so bad,
Yeah, it was
and
it
that's
was wild
weird.
to say those things because why would you say that to a random person at this point? Looking at it from
Someone
from an
who
outside picture, he's saying these things about another internet family or literally like anybody else, and just having this conversation with another at this point random person
who he
and
doesn't
giving.
even know knows us or cares about what we're doing whatsoever. I mean, like, I'm sure she's nice. I'm sure, like, whatever. But I'm sure she honestly probably didn't care that Alex was working out.
Yeah,
Why would she?
but so like why would he
you know?
I mean, we were looking pretty good out there working out.
We were getting ripped, bro.
I'm not gonna lie,
you
but
gotta get the swole on.
I mean, isn't that much for to talk
Yeah.
about? Like,
Yeah, it's just it's wild for that
Feel good,
conversation to
though,
have
but-
happened.
yeah,
Yeah, and to know, like, I wasn't going outside because I was afraid to go outside, and for
right.
good reason. Because if I had gone outside, he would have been watching me the whole time.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like so creepy to think about, because do we have any kind of privacy whatsoever? And like,
Now we can't move the bus. It's tough when like the bus is broken down and we gotta go somewhere. So now, I mean, luckily, I feel like knock on wood, we figured most things out with the bus. We're cruising, we're moving and grooving, so we're not in that type of predicament anymore. But it's something that we definitely learned about to, I mean, one, be more prepared, two, look out for certain things, and I mean, three, like if we're broken down for any particular reason, like get this bad boy fixed and get on the move again, because there's
Yeah.
some crazy people out there.
Yeah, honestly, very interesting and unusual people, man. Like,
yeah, I don't know why. Like, she showed me the screenshots. At no point did she ever ask him what we were doing, or like have any kind of interest whatsoever in our lives, our kids' lives. And he just was reporting on it every day, starting from when we were in Quartzsite on. And I feel like if we had known sooner, I feel like we would have course corrected in some way. I feel like there are some things that we could have done, but a lot of it, if you think about it, like,
We didn't know about it till months later. It's all happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it would have been great to know at that time, and
Yeah.
because we could have, it would have been definitely a different scenario. But to have all that happen and then not be able to find out about it for 2 months later, it was a terrible situation to be able to be a part of, and like I don't ever want to be in that predicament again.
and I don't wish that on anyone. It's such a helpless feeling. And I can't even like quite describe the feelings and emotions that go into knowing that you have somebody out there that is unstable, not healthy, and very much obsessed with your family. And he was saying very like mean things about us to her. It was not in a caring way at all. It was like there his exact words are they're strange birds. And he was just saying that like we were oh, he also said that we were copying all of her content, which is just like patently crazy. If
Mm-hmm.
you think about it, I feel like she and I don't post similar aside from the fact that again, we both live in RVs and we both have families.
It was different stuff. We talked about
Yeah.
different things. There's different approaches. I feel like everybody's got the stuff that they like to talk about and stuff that they don't. And
We
I
were
feel like,
broken down at the time. We were sharing updates on fixing the bus.
yeah. And even at that, like, I mean, go back and look at receipts at any of the stuff. What was the stuff that was copied?
Yeah,
I would love to know.
I
Like,
would love to know as well.
because the benefit of it being the internet is there's dates when it's all posted. So great,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
let's find out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure. But at the end of the day, I don't really care what this one random guy thinks about what I post online. I mean, you're not going to win them all. I feel like there's
Yeah.
a lot of people out there who don't like what we post online, and that's fine. But I think the point of it is the part that I do care is I think he wishes us harm. I think he wanted to harm us through telling her that. I think it was online like bullying,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, well, if I can't find you and hurt you in person,
I'm gonna
I'm
do it.
going to
Yeah.
do it
And
this
hurt your
way.
online reputation or what
Yes.
people think of you, right? Which is very weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. He definitely had malicious intent with his actions, and
It felt very much like a physical harm. It wasn't like he was getting his rocks off by being a bully.
like an
You know what I
emotional
mean?
harm, like an emotional deterrent, maybe.
Yeah, he was like, let me mess these people up. Like, what can I do to cause trauma?
Right. Kind
Yeah.
of fed off it in a way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, I hate saying that it did because I know that he's probably watching this. I know that he probably still watches everything that we post and
Yeah.
probably reports it back to I don't even know who. And
If you
maybe,
get weird messages about us from a Boston guy, let us know because that would be great. It would be great to know if that's still happening.
yeah. I mean, I guess at this point, the hardest thing for me is that I know that this guy is out there and I know that he wishes our family harm, the entire family, all
Yeah.
of us. And I feel like I'm always just looking over my shoulder now and I'm much more cautious around new people.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in a way it kind of like ruined the experience because I feel like a lot of what traveling is meeting new people. I've met some of the best people I've ever known on
Yeah.
the road. And I feel like now I'm just like, well, I have to hold my cards close to my chest and I have to be the person that I don't want to be. I want to be more open with people. I want to trust people, but I feel like after this, I am a lot more standoffish.
Right. I mean, I feel like also too, like it definitely helps us like be more aware of like where we're at, the environment, who we're letting to be, be vulnerable with. But also, I feel like it's a good experience for us to like to know and be able to go through that because now we know for sure like what to look out for, what the signs are, and we can use our experience to let other people know that are traveling too. Because traveling it can be scary, but there's also a lot of safe and like other alternatives you can have to make sure that you're more secure. And I feel like with that real life experience that we've had and we've shared together, we're able to talk more effectively about it and just spread more awareness to like this stuff actually goes on. So it is a negative in a way where we may have not experienced it as much as we wanted to, but also it's a learning experience for us too that we can pass on and we can share with other people
Yeah, for
and make
sure.
sure they're aware of it, you know?
For
So
sure.
we'll definitely get both sides of it. Absolutely.
I love that. I
Yeah.
loved taking something that honestly was really hard for us. It was really hard on me. Um and just trying to find the positive. I do want to help
Yeah.
others and I want people to be more aware and learn from my mistakes. I feel like mistakes were made. But also I think another positive spin is like I can tell myself like I knew from the very beginning.
Woman intuition's always the best. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, I never judge it anymore.
Yeah,
Never.
never. After that, yep,
Like, yep,
never.
yes, ma'am.
Every single time. Women intuition is way better than my intuition.
Yep. I'm
And I
too.
have good intuition, man, but
Yeah, I feel like I've pretty solid, but I'm pretty. I would say naive and overall. Like I try to be nice and chill.
personable
I'm
and
like, all
yeah.
right, like
Hmm.
maybe they're not like absolutely wild, but then
Yeah, I always think
it
everybody's
happens.
just like me, and that's not the case.
It's not.
Everybody is like is
Yep.
cheerful about stuff, and I don't know, brings authenticity with a lot of situations. So I
Yeah.
get that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess just like knowing that I can trust myself and like rely on that and know that if I'm feeling a certain way about somebody that I shouldn't try and like stuff that down. I
Hmm.
should just go
Trust
with
your
my
gut
gut.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, because there was never a time I felt safe with that man. There was never a time that I was like, "Oh, he's maybe okay." Never. Like I always had a bad feeling about
Hmm.
him.
Yep. That's why we had to.
Yep. Always listen to your wife or girlfriend on the vibe. Always, guys.
Always, always. They're probably right.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
So, with that said, after realizing the full scope of how bad the situation was for us, I did contact the FBI. They do have an investigation, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't know, like we're not gonna talk about that much more,
Yeah.
but yeah,
At least bring some
Yep.
awareness to it from somebody else that has more power on like, you know.
Just
yeah,
Yeah,
let it be known because
exactly.
people can definitely be weird out there. Keep
yeah,
yourself protected. Keep yourself guarded at least a little bit because people are trying to get. I mean, people are opportunists. They're going to try and take whatever opportunity they can.
Mhm.
And I feel like these days there's a lot of different ways. So you just got to keep yourself guarded.
yeah,
Yeah, healthy boundaries, guard
yeah,
yourself. I feel like with me I'm an oversharer, so it's definitely learned to it's taught me to be a little more reserved with people that I meet at first cuz
yes,
I am personable. I do like making friends and I am an oversharer at first, but sometimes you don't need to tell everybody everything cuz you don't
yeah,
really know who they are as a true person either.
absolutely,
You walk
yeah.
up and you're just like, hey, how's it going? My social security number is.
And your mother's maiden name. Also, what's your
this
favorite teacher's name?
the street I grew up on. Yeah, here this is
Oh,
it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, so I feel like we've all kind of learned and grown from this, and it's a wild story now. I mean, it was about a year ago.
Yeah.
As far as where things are right now, I don't know the answer to that.
Stay tuned for the next podcast. We might drop the full name, maybe the Instagram tag. Who knows? I know I'm
He's
not gonna do it, but
he's been on podcasts before, which has been a wild time. So as like a little like round ringer at the end, we did have a relatively recent interaction, not necessarily directly with him, but there was somebody that was at a campground with us that had recently put him on a podcast and had him discussing. Honestly, I don't really know what. I didn't want to listen to it because like
He creeps us out.
yeah, but knowing that that happened and then knowing that that happened in a close way as far as like it being essentially one of our neighbors, which was we had never really even discussed that happening, but it's one of those things that makes you think and just kind of keep a guard up just to be safe, just to be ready.
Yeah, that actually kind of freaked me out a little. But
Mhm.
I don't know if he still watches. I guarantee he probably does still watch our stuff.
In some way
And
shape, I mean he's blocked, so but Also, the guy said he's in cybersecurity,
Probably has a lot
and
of
he's a
accounts
and
and
he's a
stuff.
DJ, and he also told us that he would build like Instagram channels and sell them. Like that was another
Yep.
thing he did. He would grow them and then sell them, and that was another marketing that he did.
And apparently he built a lot of houses too. So honestly, if you guys want anything done, I would reach out to this guy. He seems like he knows everything.
He could do it from top to bottom,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yep. AAA. He
Yep.
do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So come to find out, he gave us a fake name, and I guess I didn't say how we thought or how we found that out, but I reverse searched his phone number and got his actual name, which was nothing like the name that he gave us.
Huge
And
red flag.
yeah, I'm wondering why he gave us a fake name and didn't want to talk about his
Did we
job.
did we ever look at his real name and like do any searches in any
Maybe we should.
databases? We
Maybe
should
we
do that.
should
We should get that ready for
We should
maybe next
investigate.
time. If you guys want to tune in,
revisit,
we'll
update.
have it for next time. We'll start it off.
Is that something everybody's interested in and wanting to like hear? Because I feel like we could definitely investigate that. This guy definitely has a online presence and has been around, and we've investigated enough people. I feel
That's
like
true.
you're very like FBI yourself.
But I will say this man seems very, very calculated. And whatever
Super
he
strategic.
does, yes, he maybe gets away with it.
Right. So
As scary as that is.
right. So maybe
Yeah.
even in the best interest is just to say what we got to say here and just keep moving on and living our life.
Like, it
Because
honestly makes me a little afraid to be even talking about this much because
Yeah.
I'm like, what if
what if he knows? But what I mean, like, even still, all of the proper things have happened. There's nothing more that we can do.
we did alert the FBI and everything?
Everything is lined up. Like as far as all of the information that we can possibly give has already been given.
Yeah.
And I mean, like at this point, we just need to keep moving on. I think it's in everybody's interest for us to move on, for him to
Yeah.
move on, for
Yep.
you know.
But I will say something kind of eerie about RV life that I don't know if a bunch of people realize is you're always on the move. And so are all the other people around you. And if somebody has nefarious intentions and is not a very good person, they can
Follow you around. You can be a dark person,
Yeah.
which is a very sad sight to see. So
Yeah.
try to bring a lot of positivity to it to not have that, because there are dark people in the world, and you got to be
Yeah.
aware of it and protect yourself.
Yeah.
Just
This
note.
isn't a way to deter you if you are on your travel life either. Like
Yeah.
definitely like make sure you look at your research and figure out what's are effective ways to like travel and be safe about it too. But also you have to have the awareness that people are really like that, you know? Maybe where you're from or maybe how you were raised, you don't really have that sense of like, hey, people are really out here trying to hurt other people, but that can be the case a lot of the times, and you run into it more frequently when it's more of like you have more autonomy on where you can do and where you can travel, like the RV life, right? Like you don't know who's doing it, you can travel.
Yep.
There's a lot of mystery behind it and like who you really are as a person.
Yep.
So just be very wary about that.
I do. I'm going to tell everybody. I believe in the Second Amendment. Ride that bad boy out. Protect yourself. Like it's always better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So
Yeah, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so
yeah,
He really is. He's
he
not even
really is.
joking.
Yeah.
We could tell that story.
So Ted
too.
Bundy,
Yeah.
better watch out.
Get ready to get
Do some
flipped,
Brazilian
bro.
on you, boy.
He would have never saw that coming. Can we just agree that he would have never saw that coming? And you would have wrecked him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another we got a lot of stories, man. We could do like a throwback.
Yeah.
Bring up some stories about some
Eating
Second
grass.
Amendments and gotta say gotta survive.
You gotta survive. Declan. Dustin is a survivor, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah, I was just
I'm not
I was
gonna
just thinking
give
that.
up.
Oh yeah.
And like that's the vibe for all of us and all the things that we have been through. That I feel like was probably, and I don't know if you agree, the darkest time in our RV travels. We almost stopped after all of that.
I was in a pretty rough place there. I feel
Yeah.
like that was definitely some rough times
Weird
that we went through.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing significantly better now. I've grown a lot, learned a lot, experienced a lot, moved on a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving it. So it's nice to be able to look back on that now, even as like dark of a time as it was, but to know that we grew and learned from that, because I feel like I'm a better person because of it. Learned a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Learned a lot of emotional growth stuff that
That's
has
huge
been
too.
probably plaguing me for a long time, and that's what it's
Yeah.
really about: is being able to control those things and like
Right.
understand and not be afraid and not be anxious and not be the things and have the courage and all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautifully
Yeah.
said. I think that's so true. I
Very
feel like,
poetic.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we really had to go through that to be. I feel like you have to go through those bad times to appreciate the good times more.
Yin and yang. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I could not be any more grateful for this time right now.
Right, for sure. Being able to see everybody, know where we're at, especially with the bus. I feel like it can definitely be overwhelming. A lot of stuff in life can become overwhelming, but going through all these challenges and all these things and friendships and people that you meet on the road and all this stuff, it's definitely helped tremendously. And I feel leaps and bounds better. Road life, being on the road, being on a bus, being all the things has done me every bit of good that I feel like I needed in my life.
Yeah, and I feel like the 2 years that I spent on the road, it's just I've built so much character. Honestly, I really
Yeah.
have. Now that I think back to like where I was before I traveled to where I'm at now, like I'm more emotionally just stronger. I've built a lot of character. You learn a lot. I feel like you grow fast when you're traveling and you're always doing
Mhm.
things and you're trying to like
Overcome every
every
obstacle.
obstacle by
Yeah.
yourself and just like figure out different solutions that are outside of the box. Like you really build your character a lot that way.
You do.
I feel like I gained 5 years in the 2 years that I traveled, like of just experience in life, and
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
and that was one thing I really appreciate about just traveling is like the whole experience,
You do.
learning, and it was fun, and I recommend it all the time, every time.
Yeah, 100%. If for a little bit, for a long time, whatever you feel,
Hmm.
just do it.
Oh
Just
yeah,
try it out.
get out of your hometown too.
100% get out of your hometown.
Run from your
Jeez,
hometown.
Right, your
yeah,
hometown could be great.
you can visit, but
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It can be amazing, but just experience something outside
the
of that.
culture and diversity too that you experience, just like being
Yes.
somewhere that you're, it's just it's insane.
Yeah, it really is.
So all in all, highly recommend RV life. And I
Yes.
will say this time right now in our whole RV journey, for me anyway, is the best times we've ever had. It's the best times we've ever had in the bus, the best times we've had traveling, and the best time with all the best peoples like right now. I'm loving our life right now.
Yep, yep. I feel that. Okay, so I'm a big The Office fan, and do you guys remember at like the end when it was is Andy was talking about? I wish I would have known that it was in the best of times during it, and you don't realize it till after the fact. You know what I mean?
Always,
Now
Aww.
I'm not saying that I don't want these
always
times to end, but it's experience the moment in the now, because like
the present.
that's
Yeah,
the best you're gonna get. You know,
because you're gonna
and
think
so
back and be like,
that was a good
"Wow, that
time.
really was a good time," and I didn't appreciate it like I should have, but like now I am. But it's just like, yeah, I agree with you. You got to live in the present moment and really make that a tangible thing. Is like living there in the moment, because you will think back and be like, dude, that was a great time in my life.
Yeah,
I should have took advantage of it. Oh wait, I did because I was living in the present time,
exactly,
and that's a
exactly.
good thing to say.
Yes.
With that said, thank you for talking to
Yeah,
us.
Thank you so
thank you
much,
Yeah.
guys.
bro. Thank you so much for being on.
Absolutely,
I
thank you
Yeah.
feel
for
like
having me.
we
Yeah.
just kind of like this was like a FaceTime session. Us
Oh,
just kind of
dude,
talking and
just
like us
missing a few
talking,
things, but
just
yeah.
missing a few things, just
The
having a good
important
time.
things.
The important things.
Yeah.
So, bro, I appreciate you so much. And I'm
Yeah,
glad we made it out of
thank you
that.
guys for having me so much too. I
Yes.
appreciate the
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to share stories with you guys about. It was just wild, man. I'm glad we were able to get through it together as a team and
Yeah.
as a family too. You know,
Yeah.
that's definitely something to be
To grow
thankful
with.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we grow
for
together. I
sure.
mean, it was a traumatic experience. We grow together with it. We become better people, and we move on.
Exactly. But yeah, guys, stay tuned for the next podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much. And if you're drinking,
watching.
cheers.
Have one on us.